Hi everyone. I want to highlight the aspect of late marriages happening in India, right from the urban areas to the rural areas, as it's not limited to a specific you know region of a country. It's prevalent across everywhere. Bulk majority of son and daughters are marrying late late 20s, onset of 30s, or mid 30s and late 30s. It's highly there in the absolutely late 30s and starting of 30s or mid 30s. That's the trend. Now there's certain taboo points which I want to highlight. Which society at large tries to avoid. If your son and daughter is marrying late, then understand he or she got sexual desires. How they are going to furnish their sexual requirements, their physical requirements. It cannot be avoided. It's not just me telling it. Whether you go to this, the scientific community, the medical community, the people who handle up mental, health, or even common, wisdom of society. Moment a son and daughter enters around the age of 17 and 18, slightly ahead of puberty, the onset of hormones, the impact of hormones on entire physiology and the mental and psychological abilities of boy and girl is extremely strong and evident. And sexuality is an important area which get influenced by the hormones. As these boys and girls enter into the early 20, 21, 22, and the focus is more on education, higher education, quality education, going abroad to different countries, pursuing their dream, their passion, and so forth. That's fine. But they are marrying late. Now, when they are marrying late, what happens to aspects like sex? What happens to aspects like they have attraction toward opposite gender? So they're not getting married, but they are somewhere entering into relationships. Now why they're entering relationship? Because they need a man and a woman in their life. They cannot avoid it. It's absolutely impossible. More when you from the onset of mid 20s, this urge of having a life partner is very strong. But due to socio-religious, financial, economic reasons, boys and girls, men and women are avoiding marriages at early age, or at the correct age, if I should say. Fine, India is a democratic country and they are free to exercise their choice. But these boys and girls, men and women, and their parents have to realize few important points. So as I already said, sex is one of them. Having physical relationship with opposite gender is one, because you cannot control your sexual urges. So parents need to understand this very clear, where they focus more on the educational qualification of of the children. That's fine, but they should keep in their mind that if the children is going anywhere out of the city to different district, state, country, for studying purpose or for career purposes, and if they're not married, then keep this point in mind, that either they will have multiple sexual partners for satisfying their sexual needs. They're going to watch a lot of porn. That's the other element which I want to bring into it. Yes, they will watch a lot of porn. And it's not just boys, it's both boys and girls. I'm not telling everyone watches it, but vast majority watch it. The data is there to prove it, that the porn consumption in India is very high, cutting across the length and breadth of the country, languages, regions, demography, or economic status, and so forth. So porn is a very strong thing which is getting consumed by people who are not marrying, and even other people who are who are already married, even they are consuming. So that's not the only point that pre-marriage or post-marriage, but if they are not marrying, so sex and porn, then multiple relationships. Okay, so this is there. The next part comes, they can have a permanent relationship with someone, okay, and they will continue to live like a married life, but not getting married, not making it socially and solemnizing it religiously. They won't do that, but they will behave and they live like a couple. They can opt for a live-in relationship. They can avoid a live-in relationship. Okay, they can be in separate houses of theirs and still they have a relationship. They will continue with their career, with their education, and whatever is happening with their professional life. And they will also have a personal life. So they will have intimacy, sexual intercourses, getting very close to each other, going around, traveling, doing everything almost what couples do. One thing which they don't do is getting legally and socially married, and the other is they don't have children. So these actions are result owing to late marriages, and it's not that the society is unaware about it. Society is aware, but parents don't talk about it. They don't talk to their children on this particular subject. Most of the parents avoid it. They might not be avoiding, for example, the millennial parents who are from from the 70s, 80s and the 90s. They might not avoid the subject. They'll be very open and vocal with their children. But still, if your children is into late marriage and is not agreeing to to marry even at early 30s and is going to late 30s, so remember, his or her sexual life is extremely active, because almost 99.999% people on earth cannot live without sex. I've just left 0.1% of people who can live without it. There are people on earth, but rest of them they cannot. So they will have their sexual life and very active sexual life. And you as a parent might be thinking, oh no, my person is very, my child is very sattvic. That's a Hindi term for being very moral, ethical, nice, good person. My child is, very nice, very good. No, there's nothing called good and nice. If he or she is having sex and not married, or having a relationship which includes, parts of sexuality, don't be surprised. Accept it openly between your, as a parent, as a couple. Okay, fine. Our children are getting married. They are having these sort of, things, and we have to accept it. And then a day might come, and they might marry those, people, those partners whom they had, with whom they had, sexual relationship, or they might opt for someone absolutely, someone new, both in arranged marriage or out of love marriage or out of choice. So all this, I'm trying to, present in front of you, keeping in mind, the repercussions from late marriages. There are lots of hundreds of other, outcomes owing to late marriage. These are the main few ones. And when in between I highlighted the porn issue, that is again a very big part. Specifically, for example, the young boys and even young men, they are not having, say for example, sexual, they don't have sexual life with some partner, or so they don't have a relationship, they're not married. And how they do, how they control the sexual urges, because sexual urges will continue to appear. That's where the point comes from of masturbation. Yes, currently over social media and YouTube, this is one of the most hottest subject. You'll find numerous type of people who are sex experts, and they are giving their opinion, their research, their thinking on these particular subjects which are called taboo subjects. But this is not a taboo subject. If a young man is 25, 26 years old, or even including a girl, and they are having, sexual desires as a normal human being, they are bound to have, but they're not married, then what they will do? Just by reading romantic novels, they cannot control those urges. They need to have an outlet. And one of the outlet is, watch porn, masturbate, and give yourself pleasure. Almost all the, doctors world over, including India, they advise this, this behavior, this choice to all the millennials. Not just limited to millennials, even to couples and anyone. They're very open. It's, the entire medical fraternity is doing this. So we need to, so that's the reason why I'm trying to bring this particular subject. I wanted to share my thoughts with you all, that we have to discuss on these issues. Now, watching porn consistently in your life for many years, and then finally getting married to anyone, a girl or a boy, a man or a woman, and then you have the real world, love, liking, intimacy, sex, pleasures, everything. And when he or she has to perform, has to reciprocate, has to enjoy things, which happen early in the young life, like, having a sexist life, or, masturbating and watching porn and, having multiple relationships, that has a huge impact on their, the married life. A lot of urban married life are crumbling due to these reasons. And early marriage is somewhere a big savior. It's a big solution for all this. But boys and girls want to have, a very good, decent career. They want to make money first and then get married, because they have aspirations. They don't want to get married with, small amount of money. They want to have an established career, some bank balance, some property, some cars, and then they want to get married. That's what's happening in India. So if that is going to happen, then be prepared to face the other consequences, which I've told you about. The amount of revenue dating companies are earning in India, and majority of these dating companies are coming from, the foreign countries, from US and from Europe. Majority of them are not homegrown. They are raking in millions and millions of money. What does that mean? That they have consumers, they have people who are taking the service, availing the service, and are involved in multiple sexual acts. They are also there into extramarital affairs, and that's becoming a norm. Marriages are breaking, young marriages are breaking, matured, marriages are breaking. People who are there in the 50s and 60s are breaking up, 40s are breaking up. I'm not telling everyone, but the percentage is going higher. And as I told you, this, one of the, this entire saga, I can go on and on. Few important reasons I've shared with you. That's where I'll end myself. Share your opinion, and I'll share more thoughts in upcoming videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.